The spread operator allows us to spread the contents of an object, an array, or a string. The syntax for the spread operator is just 3 dots before the variable name. Over here I have an array, and I am logging what the array looks like without the spread and what the array looks like with the spread. So if we run that, without the spread returns as you would expect. It is an array with all of the values in the correct index. But if you take a look with the spread, it looks a little weird. All the values are spread out and it's not returned as an array. Where the spread gets handy is, say we wanted to add values to that array. So we are counting up to 3 in our example right now. What if we wanted to count up to 5? You just wrap it in an array, put a 4 and a 5, give that a run, and it didn't really count up to 5 for us. The original array remained the same. It has one value with 3 numbers in it in an array, and then we have our 4 alone, and then we have our 5 alone. But we want all of those numbers spread out by themselves. All we got to do is add the spread operator, give that a run, and now our array looks a little more like something that we'd be able to do something with. You can also use the spread operator on objects. So if we grab an example of our friend Screwdriver Tony, let's first log him just in his own natural state. We get an object, we have his name, age, and that he is currently alive. We can create a new object, new and improved Tony, and we can pass in the old Tony, and we'll give him a cat named Daryl. If we run that, oh, we're running the old Tony. If we run the new and improved Tony, we run into the same object, or the same problem that we had when we were trying to add the 4 and the 5 onto the array. We returned the cat, and we returned the whole separate object of old Tony. But this cat is a big part of Tony's life, so they should be 1. Let's just add the spread operator onto old Tony. And it spreads out all the old values. And now Daryl is a part of the Screwdriver Tony object. Tony's fast lifestyle finally caught up to him, and I regret to inform you that Tony is no longer with us. Another cool thing about the spread operator is that in our new Tony object, we can update old existing properties. So we can set alive to false, give that a run. We still have the cat named Daryl. The age is still 46, but Tony is no longer with us. But since we created an entirely new object, we can reminisce of the old days. Let's pass in the original Tony object. Tony is still in his original form, and this is very handy with a lot of patterns and libraries. We can also use the spread operator on strings. So if we get an example of that going, we have a string and put it in an array, but let's use the spread operator on there. So string example is a string. What happens when we log that? It returns an array of characters. I've never used this. I've never seen it used, but I guess it could be cool. You could try to find something to do with that. So the big takeaway to take away from this is the spread operator is a nice way of spreading out the old values of an object or in an array, or even a string if you swing that way. This is commonly used when you need to create a new object or an array with altered values and you want to keep the original untouched.